What is going on to all my MCU Loki fans out there, and welcome back to my channel. I am here today to give you all my review of the first 4 episodes of Loki Season 2, which I had the opportunity to watch over the weekend. Very excited to give you all my thoughts. But before we get into my thoughts of these first 4 episodes, again, no spoilers, but let me know in the comments if you guys are excited for this new season. What were your anticipation level? What were some things you're hoping to get from this second season? Let's have those conversations in the comments below. So I did a reaction video that you all can check out if you haven't already, but like I said in that video, I was very vague about certain things, so I'm going to really expand upon those in this video without giving things away. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit more about these first 4 episodes, starting off with where I left off with my thoughts on episode 1. And as I kind of briefly alluded to, episode 1, which by the way, these episodes, let me just get this out of the way now, they're all around like 49 to 53 minutes, and the first episode is like 49, maybe like 46 when you don't include the credits. But episode 1 to me plays almost like a part 2 in really kind of giving you closure to what happened at the end of season 1, and obviously still tying things into this first 4 episodes. But episode 1 is a 80% kind of addressing things that took place in finale, and then 20% kind of giving you a little bit more of the setup of what to expect in this new season, which might play out for some people, not in the way that they were hoping. I think the way it sets things up is it really kind of sets the tone with these first 4 episodes, especially in this episode 1. The TVA is unstable right now. People are creating groups, people are going rogue. Loki is trying to get people to know that He Who Remains and Kang is coming. So there are some things that I really love what they do with this first episode to set up what we get in episode 2, which, by the way, just a quick reminder, if you guys are watching this in advance, episode 1 does have it has a mid-credit scene, so stick around to see that mid-credit scene because it actually sets up episode 2 perfectly. So episode 1 really kind of set the mood for me personally, again, addressing things in the finale while also setting up things for the season 2. Now, kind of giving you all my general overview of episodes 2 through 4. First off, when it comes to these characters, Loki's development is something that I really enjoy what they're doing so far. Now, I'll be honest, they are still kind of addressing things that were posed in season 1 as far as Loki, this version of Loki from the timeline from 2012's Avengers. Can he be a hero? Can he actually be a hero and not lean on his villainous ways? Can he be a good person? They kind of are still hinting at that within the first 4 episodes, but the thing that I really like that they're doing is it's still kind of development within the character. The thing that I loved about season 1 of Loki is the chemistry between Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. You know, Loki and Mobius, they double down with that. Like, they are like tied to the hip in these first 4 episodes. And I love that because we see the great back and forth banter. We also see them on the ground. There's a lot more locations that we see within the first 4 episodes. And to the Mobius of it all, Owen Wilson is a great actor. He's great in this role, and I like what they're doing with him so far. And the whole thing about his character, without getting too much into it, is we know that after season 1 finale, they learned that all the TVA agents, they had a life on the timeline. Like, they were obviously kidnapped and their minds were erased. So, like, what does that look like for someone like Mobius, who has dedicated his entire life, his skill set? He's put the jet skis aside to be a TVA agent or an analyst. What does that look like for him now that he knows that there's a possible timeline that he could have lived out? So I like what they're doing with him and all of the characters. There's kind of this central theme, a theme that they play with in season 1. Can someone change when knowing how much or little time they have in the, you know, past, present, and future? So there's an idea that's floating around about, are you destined to be this person? This goes for everyone in this particular season, especially in the 3rd and 4th episode with certain characters. So I'm liking the themes, I'm liking the development, but I also like how the supporting characters are getting a lot more to do. I think of Hunter B-15, who's being put in this position of being a potential leader. We have Sylvie, who I'll talk about this a little bit later in the negatives. She has things to do, but she kind of feels like she's still stuck in the same place for where she left off in season 1. But I still like Sylvie and like what she's doing so far in this show. But I gotta say, I love how they're exploring the new characters and also mixing in the recurring characters. But for example, new characters, we have X5, aka Brad, played by Rafael Casal, who is great. He is great at playing both sides of the coins. He's such a fun character. I'm really liking what he has to do in this show, and I think he's really important to the show as well. We also have Huy Quan, who plays OB. He fits perfectly in this show. Like, he is the maintenance guy, he's the tech guy, He's very important to the show. And again, he just fits like a glove in the show. He is so great. I really like OP. Without spoiling anything, my goodness, Ravonna and Miss Minutes have a much bigger role. I'll say that. No spoilers whatsoever. There is a lot going on with those two characters. They are almost scene stealers. I really enjoy the scenes with Ravonna and Miss Minutes. Now, getting into the Jonathan Majors of it all without giving too much away, I mentioned in my reaction that I was concerned that they were going to lessen his role with all the stuff going on, with the court situation. Not an issue, because Jonathan Majors, and this isn't a spoiler because this is public knowledge, we saw him in Ant-Man 3, we saw him in the trailers of this show. He's playing Victor Timely, and him as Victor Timely is a very interesting, fascinating character. I'll be honest, when he was first introduced, I'm like, I don't know if I can, vibe with this kind of interpretation of how he's playing the character. But I'm telling y'all, once you kind of see how things unfold and you get to learn more about the character, I really enjoy this performance. I won't go as far as saying I like this portrayal more than like He Who Remains, but I think I would say I would put Victor Timely over the Ant-Man version of Kang, just because I'm not a fan of that version of how he ended up getting beat by ants in Ant-Man. But I would say He Who Remains and Victor Timely are two of my favorite portrayals of the various different variants of Kang so far. So I really like what Jonathan Majors doing. Really excited to see what they do with this character in this show. And yeah, there's a lot of things with that character that I'm really excited to talk about with you all in future episodes, but they are very pivotal in this show, to say the least. Now, getting into some of my negatives, I will say that you do have to pay attention to the show, which isn't a bad thing. Obviously, you want to pay attention to what's going on, but there are just so many story plots going on here that it kind of feels overwhelming without getting into it. But there's obviously, okay, we have the He Who Remains and the threat of Kangs. We have everything going on with the TVA, timeline branches being created, being destroyed. There's chaos within the TVA. There's fighting amongst people to get power of position. There's a lot. On a rewatch, I was able to kind of take things in better, but when you first see these first 4 episodes, again, they're hitting the ground running. There's so many plots, so many things going on. You're like, whoa, can we slow down for a second? But again, on a rewatch, it evens out, but I will warn you all that it was a little bit overwhelming for me because there's so many things going on. Now, I mentioned it briefly, but Sylvie kind of feels redundant. There are some new things that they hint at with the character, but she kind of feels like she's in the same place that she was last season, and there hasn't been much growth for the character. This isn't against the actress. I just feel like the way they're writing Sylvie, it feels like we're doing the same song and dance, and hopefully they can explore. They have, and I want to be fair in saying they're exploring new elements with her, but a lot of it feels the same. And when you all see certain episodes, you'll know what I mean by Sylvie's. Final thing I want to mention here, my favorite episode is episode 3, but also episode 4. I cannot wait for the conversation with episode 4 of how things play out, because it really kind of, if my memory serves me right, episode 4 of season 1 ended with Loki getting pruned, if I'm not mistaken, and we were all like, obviously he's the star of the show, he's gonna be okay. But the way things play out in episode 4, and that's the last episode they gave us for the screeners, I'm like, yo, where are we going? and I guess kind of bringing that into the negatives, there is this sense of like, I don't know exactly where the show is headed. Like season 1 was very clearly TVA, timekeepers, okay, they're fake, they're robots, who's the person that created them? And that was kind of like the objective in the show. Season 2, again, going back to, there's so many things going on, I don't know if it's as focused so far. Again, I'm assuming they're going to pay off with all the stuff they set up, especially with episode 4, but it seems a little unfocused from my personal opinion. But those are my pros, those are my cons. Wrapping this thing up as far as just general impressions, overall, I'm 100% on board, minus some of my concerns. I really enjoyed the first 4 episodes, and I'm very excited to see what they do next. So that's my review of Loki season 2, episodes 1 through 4. Definitely leaning more in the positives more than the negatives, and I would say so far it's in line with season 1. I might have season 1 just slightly ahead, but I might say that the performances of season 2, especially from supporting cast, puts it on that same pedestal with me. But let me know what you all thought of the first episode that's going to be premiering this week. And of course, if you're watching this video at a later point, I kind of hinted at certain things for episode 3, 4, or 2, 3, and 4. So let me know your thoughts when you get to those episodes in the comments below. I might cover this on a weekly basis. We'll see, depending on how these videos do, and if you guys want me to do my weekly breakdowns that I've done for all the MCU shows thus far. So let me know if you guys would want weekly discussions, watch-alongs, live discussions after these episodes premiere. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Before we wrap it up, consider hitting the like button, sharing, leaving your thoughts in the comments, and of course, subscribing to the channel. You all are awesome. Hope you're staying safe, and I'll catch you all on the next video.